So real quick, let's talk about New York, shall we? See, there's this new bill going through New York, the Senate, pushed, of course, by Democrats. And it, of course, is a very anti-gun bill. It's called S3444. You can look it up yourself. And I'm going to briefly go over what the actual wording of the bill is, at least the pertinent part we're going to talk about here. But basically what it does is require that all guns sold or owned in New York have at least a 10-pound trigger pull to save the little children. Now, this is the gist of it here. It says such devices or mechanisms shall include, but not limited to, the capacity to adjust the trigger resistance to at least a 10-pound pull, the capacity to alter the firing mechanism so that an average 5-year-old child's hands are too small to operate the pistol or revolver. So I guess just make the grip bigger, push the trigger further away from the grip. I don't know exactly how they're going to do that, but there you go. Or the capacity to require a series of multiple motions in order to fire the pistol or revolver. Now, I don't know if that means that you've got a back strap grip safety, a front strap grip safety, and you got to squeeze those two together and pull the trigger to fire, or if you got to have a button safety for your thumb. I don't know what that means, but obviously the thing that is most likely to happen or to be changed on firearms is to just simply increase the weight of the trigger. It's the easiest thing to do, and that, of course, is what they want to push through. Now, not only is this an anti-gun bill, but the other reasons why I have a problem with this are honestly pretty obvious and should be just apparent to anybody who even thinks twice about this. One, on average, New York has somewhere between 600 and 700 homicides per year. Now, that's not just gun crimes. That's not just people using a gun as a criminal to do something bad to somebody else but not actually kill them. This is just homicides, 600 to 700 per year on average in the last few years. Okay, deaths by criminals because people couldn't defend themselves versus an average of 8 accidental shootings per year. That does include children getting a hold of guns, but also includes hunting accidents and things like that. 8 versus 600 to 700. Now, what's the bigger problem here? That kids are getting a hold of guns? And yes, that's tragic when that happens, but is that the bigger problem? Or is it the 600 to 700 people every year that die because they can't defend themselves? I think the answer is pretty obvious. You're trying to solve a problem that is not really a problem, and all you're going to do is cause more problems for these people over here. Now, the third reason why I have an issue with this is also pretty simple if you sit back and think about it. Well, see, when you increase the weight of a trigger, you make the gun harder to shoot. And I know that's the point, but really think about this. We're talking about law-abiding citizens being told they have to make their firearm more difficult to shoot. Now, one way for sure we can show how bad of a thing this is look at the New York Police Department itself. I don't remember whether it was 20 or 30 years ago or whenever it was, the city came down on the police officers and said you can only have a gun if it has a heavy trigger. Now, I don't know exactly what that poundage is, if it's 10 or 12 pounds or whatever it is, but you've heard the term New York trigger. That's what it means when you make the trigger of your Glock, in this particular case, heavier. All right, that's what they did. Now, statistics have shown, and they've done studies on this over the last couple of decades since this has been a thing, that New York cops, on average, are far more inaccurate when they're trying to shoot a suspect than every other law enforcement agency across the country. Why? Because of their shitty triggers. That's why. They have a higher likelihood of missing their target and or shooting an innocent bystander than any other police department in the country. That's a statistical fact. So what you're saying here is not only do you want to pass a law that's anti-gun, not only passing a law that doesn't solve a real problem and helps create another one, but you also want to pass a law that's going to make it much easier for a person defending themselves to accidentally shoot somebody else. You're actually going to add to the accidental shooting pile. Do you understand what you're doing, New York? It's absolutely and utterly ridiculous. So, on the off chance that somebody out there from New York who has any say is actually watching this video, I'll just say this. New York, go fuck yourself.